Well, good morning, everyone. It's a little bit late this morning. Gonna get this thing going right away and get our speed up there. Hope you all had a good day, good night, and are gonna have a good morning. Oh, this thing remembered. All right, here we go. Another day. I'm a little late this morning. It's pretty bright outside. It's just about mid-morning. Didn't get out as early as I wanted to. I was just busy doing other things. I'm gonna change my gym schedule a bit in order to see if it's a little less busy, and if I can start, shooting some content there for you people, show you what I do. Just basic movements. Again, it's not necessarily following a program here. It's about understanding what you need to do. Well, understand the way that the food works. If you've been eating McDonald's or Timmy breakfast sandwiches, there's a lot in those sandwiches that aren't, good for you. And we all know that, we've all been told, but it's quick and simple, But think about the cost. If you prep those eggs, even if you made them a couple days before, you like those breakfast sandwiches, there's nothing wrong with having an Egg McMuffin in the morning, as long as you make it at home and eliminate most of the fat on that, which means cheese, butter, stuff like that. I mean, you can use a little bit, but in the mornings you want to make sure that you're not saturating your system with fuel it can't use. And that's why front-loading your day with proteins and, some fats to go along with those, like steak and eggs, a little bit of bacon and eggs. You want to have just like ham and a piece of toast. You just got to make sure the protein's high. Body requires a lot of energy to break down protein. That's why they always say eat lots of protein. Because you might eat 200 grams of protein a day, but your body might only be able to recover 160 to 180 grams of that. But the thermogenesis part of it is what's burning off extra calories. If you look at all the calculators, they'll tell you what you need, but calculators can be wrong. Like I mentioned before, a lean body mass calculator on somebody who's dropped significant weight and recomp their body to compensate for that weight loss, they'll have a different lean mass. The bone structure doesn't change after a certain age, just the muscles get bigger. And technically you should be holding more water, right? So we'll see. I'm not sure. I got to look into it. Excuse me. Woo! A lot of talking. 3.5 miles an hour. Yeah, the morning food plan is how you set your day is important. Like I used to go to the gym around 9-ish. Now I'm going to push that to the early afternoon. So I'm moving a significant energy use portion of my day up about by 5 hours. So it's going to take me a few days to get used to that. But as long as I do, like I said, I'll have my first meal around 8 o'clock, mainly proteins. Might have a piece of toast, sourdough or something. Small amount of carbs. Just make sure you don't spike the insulin, right? The insulin will go up because your cortisol is high. It's another thing. Get up in the morning, take a break. Don't necessarily look at your phone if you can. I know a lot of people don't necessarily have a lot of time in the morning. And I know we've all heard people say time is what you make it. But yeah, I would still take a half hour extra sleep or lay it in my bed. I'm waking up at 4:35 every day to go to work, And those days I only had a half hour. I gave myself a half hour in the morning, mainly because I started work at 7. Yeah, it's interesting what makes you realize how much you're pushing. I got a story that made me realize how hard I was pushing, but I'll save that for later. But yeah, your morning food plan, if you have to, if you don't feel like eating first thing in the morning, I get it. A lot of people don't. Just make sure you're drinking lots of water. Have like a small tumbler. Get some fresh lemons. Don't use lemon squeeze or those little yellow things. That's not even real juice. It's just citric acid. Support the produce. They just throw so much of it away. And I've noticed that a lot of that's coming down too because the weather's getting better. So we're coming into farming season. We got to get rid of all this stock. Now, mind you, most of what we get comes from other countries because it's cold and snowy here for half the year. But yeah, half a lemon every morning. Works great, tastes good. Makes your body realize that it's time to go, Doesn't put it in that fight or flight mode. So I used to eat my first meal when I was starting work at 8 in the morning. And this is just like over the last few years. I'd have my first meal about 10:30. I'd have coffee with a bit of cream in it, just like small amount of carbohydrates, small amount of fat, just after I drank my water and stuff. And by the time 10:30 came, first coffee's down, maybe half a second. Eat my morning meal. Usually a couple eggs and a piece of steak. Not much, 100 grams. Be fine for 3-4 hours. And because our schedule has usually meant that we would eat a lot at night, so I take most of my calories in from like mid-morning to about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. I'm getting good sleep, 6 to 8 hours a night. Definitely 6. It's about what I get. I don't really necessarily sleep more. I think it's from all the years of waking up when we were raising our kids, going to bed at like 10, 10:30, sometimes 11, waking up at like 4:30. Man, those days, they were rough. But anyway, look at us now, running on a treadmill in our little shed, trying to help other people do the same. That's what I've done my whole life, Success isn't always measured in what you own or what you drive or where you live. It's measured in the lives you affect, the family you have, the peace you have, Guarding your peace is important. But yeah, fasting. Like I said, I'd probably wake up around 6, like get out of bed around 6, go to work for 8, have a coffee in a bit, maybe 60, 70 calories worth of cream. Eat my first meal 10:30, break for lunch, maybe about 1:30. Again, almost all protein, chicken breast, boiled eggs. This is heavy carnivore, so we were doing a lot of just meat. But even now, like over the last year, same thing. In the morning, because I was able to train in the morning, I'd have most of my carbs. Well, not most of my carbs, but I'd have probably about 70 grams of cream of rice. So I have the energy for the gym, right? And then afterwards, same thing. Right now, I usually have potatoes. I love potatoes. And the resistant starches in them are very important too. Same with the rice. Just takes longer for your body to break it down, right? So it means it's using more of your internal fuel as well. And they just keep you full. Boil them, bake them, cool them down. You can eat them cold, you can reheat them. If you make them mashed, that's okay too, but you just got to be careful what you put in it, right? The butter, the cream. If you do that, what's mashed potatoes without butter? So, but yeah, fasting helps. But if there are things that you can do to understand how it works, is just to research those things. And I did a lot of that. I cross-reference all kinds of stuff. I bought books. I bought The Carnivore Diet by Dr. Sean Baker. It's a good book. Really good beginner's introduction. Allows you to understand exactly what you're doing. And I'll bring those books out because some of the books I have, I think everybody should own, regardless. Exercise books, training books, stuff like that. It's how you learn, how you understand your body, your anatomy. And because I come from an analog time mainly, a lot of the stuff that I use is analog because that's the way my brain processes things, right? Like I'm in my mid-50s, I wear glasses, not barely see, but things on my phone are pretty small. So I use the laptop a lot if I need to do some major interneting. But other than that, yeah, cross-reference, understand. The basics are all the same. Doesn't matter where you hear them, they're going to be the same. The misinformation or the disinformation or what you shouldn't really listen to, I don't know. There are things, but again, if you hear something that sounds kind of, suspect or, well, that doesn't seem right, doesn't seem what everybody else is saying, then look it up. See who else is saying that. See what the counterpoint is. I heard somebody say that about caffeine and how it is a vasoconstrictor, meaning it shrinks your blood vessels. So because I drink a lot of caffeine and I use pre-workout, which has a lot of caffeine in it, I was curious about this to see if I was like throwing a pump away, right? Because there is a point in time where vascularity becomes a way that you're judging yourself through fat loss and, a bit of pride in your appearance. So what I found out is that yes, it does. In certain individuals, it will reduce overall vascularity. In almost all individuals, it creates vasorestriction in the brain by up to 30%. So your blood vessels in your brain shrink, which is one of the reasons why when you get off caffeine or you have a few days without caffeine, you have a headache because your blood vessels in your brain are actually re-expanding to accept more flow. However, there's not much evidence to point to vasoconstriction in the rest of the body. So, because I drink a lot of caffeine, I already know that my vascularity is pretty much at a set point. But that's what I mean about research. Is it true? Yes, to a certain point. What about this part? That is also true. You know, we all doom scroll, and depending on what you scroll, because the algorithm is built to show you what you're most interested to, right down to a microsecond. What a crazy technology we've built. But anyway, yeah, just look around, find it out. You know, if you're, let me take this off. If you're watching somebody on YouTube or you see something, you're just not 100% sure about it, look around, take the time. Instead of scrolling your phone for the next 5 minutes, have a look. See if the information's true. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. And I'm looking forward to eating. Yeah, there's so much to know about it. But the amount of knowledge you need to have in order to get fit is pretty small. It's when you start getting, you know, in better shape and realizing your capacity is improving. That's when the real research and knowledge, the thirst for knowledge will start, you know. Understanding inflammation, understanding ligaments and muscle growth, understanding that, you know, the older you are, the more at risk you are for injury. So track the progress, you know, understand that your body, especially if it's not something you're used to, is going to be asking you, hey, whoa, what's going on here? And so as you lean into more cardio, more steps, more training of whatever your training is or you want to do, because remember, you don't have to go to the gym all the time, right? Or you don't even have to go to the gym. I just enjoy weight training. Resistance training is important, you know, doing things like carries, right? Like farmer carries, carrying your grocery bags, stuff like that, going up and down stairs. That will also help build internal VO-max, get your heart understanding how to perform under pressure. Like I said, there's so many tweaks out there, but the basics are the same. Understand what you're putting in your mouth, track it. It's tedious in the beginning, but I honestly believe it's a necessary tool. Even the people up there, you know, top of their league, top of their preferred sport, they do these kinds of things because it's necessary. Well, we're coming up on the 30-minute mark here. So I think I'm going to shut this down and go inside, get a nice colder glass of water, and then I'm going to make some food, get ready for the gym, relax for about half an hour, and then head out. So I'm going to bring the incline down on this, bring down the speed, and that's it for today. Yeah, let's see if we can get some gym work in too. So talk to you then.